we ended at this location. He actually ran into, there's a brick wall around the dumpster that's on the side of that building. He ran into that brick wall with his vehicle, and that's where it ended, and we have been in negotiations with him since that time. So it's been quite some hours.
Do we have any details on the suspect's name or why he decided to run from deputies?
I don't have those details right now. I am working on getting that information, and then I'll send out an update shortly, hopefully.
And I know you said that he had a gun. Do we know if it was an AK-47?
I don't know what type of weapon, but part of the reason why we have this type of safety environment in these situations is because there was a visible gun when Pearl River County stopped that vehicle. He did eventually, or at first, come to a stop. They were able to see that weapon inside of the vehicle, and then he fled from that traffic stop, which is where the pursuit started.
Can you tell us why he was stopped initially?
I don't know the details of that information.
But can you confirm that because Mississippi law enforcement from Mississippi across state lines into Louisiana police took over the situation? Is that right?
That's correct. Once he came into Louisiana, and we took primary of that pursuit, and I'm sure that there will be charges on the Mississippi side, but then obviously any charges that are incurred during that pursuit from the Louisiana line. We actually didn't pick it up at the Louisiana line. It was a little bit into Slidell, but from the time that we became involved in that pursuit, then yes, there are Louisiana charges that will apply to that.
Were there any attempts to stop him before he got over here to the West Bank?
Absolutely. We deployed tire deflation devices.
In New Orleans, right?
That was not in New Orleans. It was right up the road, Elevated Expressway, Barataria.
But was anything tried before he got to the West Bank, to this side of the river?
Yes, we were behind him that entire time with every indication of lights and sirens and attempts to stop the vehicle.
And in the videos that have surfaced on social media, it seems like it was a slow speed pursuit for the most part.
I don't know any details about that. Typically, that does happen when the tires are deflated. So I don't know, and I haven't seen any of the videos.
Do you know if there was any type of effort to try and box the vehicle in before?
I don't know those details right now.
I know every circumstance obviously is very different and unique, but I guess at what point in an hours-long standoff like this do you guys decide, okay, it's time to go in, or is there any information you can give about that?
Every situation is unique. You're absolutely correct about that, and that's something that's a decision that has to be made in those moments. And we always have safety, not only of law enforcement, but also of the community in mind. I mean, as you saw, we were stopping traffic intermittently out here to make sure that there was no potential of community members being injured in this, as well as law enforcement. So that's something that we have to determine at that time.
And just when it comes to the negotiation, if you could just talk to me about how the negotiation went. Because I know you all were talking to him for a while, very patient. I
would say the negotiation was successful because we have him in custody. But we did have communication with him throughout the day, throughout that time period. It was intermittent, but we were able to communicate with him through multiple electronic devices. Yes, ma'am.
Can you talk, thank you. Can you talk about a mental health aspect? Did you all have mental health professionals on scene? Was there any conversations about the possibility of the suspect taking his own life? Is that another element that you all had to take into consideration?
We do. Louisiana State Police SWAT team, as well as the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office SWAT team, has doctors embedded in the SWAT team. I believe Jefferson Parish actually has one that is specialized in psychiatry. So we do have those assets on hand, and we utilize every resource possible. Our negotiators are also very well trained and maintain that certification. They maintain regular training, and they're to deal with these situations, because when it's go time, we have to deal with it.
And we noticed that it appears the suspect's family was on scene. How much of a difference does that make for a peaceful resolution to have, the family here to be able to help coax that individual out?
I did see some family members here. I don't know if that was beneficial or not. Sometimes it's beneficial and sometimes it's not. And that's something that we have to judge in those moments. And that's a lot of time is depicted by the actual violator, him or herself, and what those situations are, why they're even in the situation in the first place. So a lot of this is on the spot judgment calls of how we have to handle these situations. There's no playbook.
One more question for me. So it went from Pearl River through Slidell, through New Orleans, across the CCC, across the West Bank Expressway
To
right
here, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And
To
then I
grandmother's house
guess
we go.
you all just have to, I'm assuming you all just have to be extra cautious, extra careful when there's a firearm involved.
Absolutely. It definitely elevates that situation. And we have many resources to be able to verify that information, to be able to determine where in proximity to the person that situation is and how much of a threat it truly is. Again, there's no playbook to this. This is all situationally dependent, and we have to make on-the-fly decisions.
Is there anything else you'd
Thank
like
you
to
so
add?
much.
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
We appreciate
Take
your time.
care.
For the
Thanks.
record, could you spell
Oh,
your
yes.
last
Yes,
name?
absolutely. Kate, 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 Sergeant, actually. Sergeant Kate, Kate, Stegall, Stegall.
How long do you think
Thank you.
it'll be?
Spell it correctly.
You gotta start writing. Yeah.
Come on, y'all keep